Hello, Youth Assembly Committee Chairman. I am Dr. Trammell, and of course, we are so excited to have you join us in just a few days for Youth Assembly. And as you know, in the General Assembly, the real legislature, as well as at Youth Assembly, the vast majority of work in terms of consideration of bills and getting into the nitty gritty actually occurs in the committee process. So your role as a committee chairman is very, very important. And so I just wanted to go over with you the procedure and how committees will work at Youth Assembly and how you will lead them. So, in your email, where you are getting the link to this video, there will be a couple of attachments. First is the Youth Assembly procedure and tips. Then you'll have the schedule. Of course, the bill book is in there too. So, first thing you'll want to do is look in the bill book and see what committee you're chairing. So if you're Senate Committee Chairman 1 or Committee Chairman 1 for the Senate or House or whatever, you'll want to look at that. Then on page 7, at the bottom of the page in the bill book, there will be the bills that are assigned to the chambers. There's 3 committees in each House and Senate, so a total of 6 committees, and it's pretty much the same. The bill numbers, because there's 3 committees, are basically assigned to each of the chambers the same. So, for example, Committee 1, regardless of House or Senate, you have bills 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, and 19. Really, you're counting by threes, right? 1, 4, 7. You're adding 3 every time. So, the same thing with Committee 2. You start with 2, then 5, then 8, then 11, 14, 17, and 20. And Committee 3, I see you're already doing the math. 3, 6, 9, 12. 15, 18, and 21. So those will be the bills that will come before your committee. The next thing on the schedule that I would, on page 8 and 9, that I would really draw your attention to is the schedule of committee meetings. So your first committee meeting does not actually occur until Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. All right, Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. So the first night of the conference. So you'll start in the chambers. We'll do a call to order. We'll do a training. I'll go over parliamentary procedure for the students, and we'll go over aye and nay and Madam Speaker, Mr. President, all that great stuff. And then we will we'll go through and let the students feel comfortable with that procedure. Then we'll go to dinner, and then at 7 p.m. when we're called back to order in the House and Senate chambers, that's when that we will actually go through and assign bills to committee, which we'll be following. Now at 5:30, there will be a committee chairs meeting just to go over again to make sure that you're comfortable with everything that we've talked about here, that we've talked about on our Zoom call later this week, and just to make sure that everything's good. Now, keep in mind, there will be a college student that is assigned to your committee that will help make sure everything goes good. If you have a question, they will be able to give you the answer and sort of help as a guide. They're not there to take over, but they will help you as a guide. Now, it's really important, and we will give you the breakdown of bills that should go in each committee meeting. It's really important that you only cover the bills that you're supposed to for that meeting. So, for example, if we say in this first committee meeting we only want you to cover 1 bill or 2 bills, it's very important that you only cover 1 or 2 bills and not 3, 4, or 5. That helps us pace the legislation as it goes to the floor and all that. So it's even more important, not necessarily right now because we're not doing the lobbyist program in this spring, but when you've got the lobbyist program going on like we will in the fall, it's important because that's when the lobbyists know to come to the committee to hear about your bill, to speak on the bill, and they could possibly have different bills that they're having to try to get to. So it's really important in maintaining that schedule. So again, your committee schedule or your meeting schedule, pages 8 and 9 of the bill book are very important. We'll also dismiss everyone to go to committee, so it won't be a big surprise to you. The procedures start, so there is an infographic on page 18 of your bill book, and on page 19 there's a a really cool little kind of chart that tells you, I mean, it's basically a cheat sheet for Robert's Rules of Order. And by the way, there's a link on our websites to a series called According to Bob that I've done. And it's just quick 2, 3, 4 minute videos that will walk through each of the different things of parliamentary procedure, just as a refresher for you and others as well. So on page 20 in your bill book really starts the procedure rules for youth assembly. And it talks about, the presiding officer, Senate, the lieutenant governor shall be called president, the speaker's presiding officer in the House, blah, blah, blah. But it gets down to number 7, rule number 7, page 20. Only bills appearing in the youth assembly bill book will be considered in committees. Your committee assignment is going to be listed on everyone's name badge, so they'll know if they belong to you or that committee. The committee shall recommend one of 3 actions, so this is very important. One of 3 outcomes for each bill that comes before you. Number 1, do pass. That means we're going to take the bill as it has been submitted to us, and we're going to pass it just like it is. And again, in these meetings, you just need a simple majority. So however many is in your committee meeting, 50% plus 1. So if you've got 13 in your committee meetings, then you need to have 7 that vote for that, if that makes sense. You also can do pass as amended. So let's say that there's some aspects of the bill that really need to be just tweaked to make it better. Then that's where you can do amendments in the committee. And you'd vote on each amendment as they're presented. There's an opportunity for the person to speak who's introduced the amendment, to say why we think this is important. People, of course, to speak against it. And it'll come down to a vote. 50% plus 1, and the amendment passes. At that point in time, the amendment becomes part of the bill, so it's really important that you keep the bill and the amendment together when it goes, or when you turn it into the Secretary of the Senate or the Clerk of the House. So the committee amendment becomes part of the bill when it's brought up in the House or Senate. The amendment is written on an amendment form. Now notice the only thing that cannot be changed at all about a bill is the purpose. The purpose is set, all right? So if the purpose is to make the official letter of Georgia the letter G, then it doesn't matter what else is in that bill, but that purpose cannot be changed. Only the bill sections. And this is true both in committee and on the floor of the House and Senate. So first option is do pass. Second option is do pass as amended. And the third option is do not pass. This means the bill will not be brought up in the Senate or the House for debate. Now, it's really important to know that you want to get as many bills passed to go to the House or Senate as possible, but also know that not everyone is going to make it. So that's the procedure rules for youth assembly. If you turn over to page 29 in the tips section, it's where it talks about the committee procedure actually in the meeting. So page 29 talks about the duties of the committee officer, the chairman, the secretary advisor, etc. So, chairman, after a bill is read in the House or Senate chambers, the secretary or clerk will call the name for the chairman to come forward to receive the bill. The chairman will do this for each bill that's assigned to his committee. Each bill will be in a bill jacket and will be taken to the committee and later returned to the secretary or clerk after the committee meetings. So here's the important things about what you do. All right, so you've picked up the bill. And by the way, that's your cue of really what's to be discussed in that committee meeting is that bill. You see that the committee meeting starts on time. So if it says it needs to start at 7:30, then it needs to start at 7:30. If it ends at 7:52, then it needs to end at 7:52. Again, it's important for keeping the whole assembly going and the trains on time, if you will, because there's a lot of moving pieces. Number 2, you'll introduce the college staff person or the advisor that's leading your committee. You can, once you get in there, find somebody that you know or that you don't know, or you can ask for a volunteer to be a committee secretary. And basically that person will read the bill or will count the votes and just help you in that matter. And then you'll introduce yourself as the chairman. After that, you'll use parliamentary procedure as you conduct the meeting. So, I hereby call this meeting the Senate Committee 3 to order, and you can use your gavel. And at that point in time, you would yourself or the secretary read the bill for consideration. And after that time has happened, then the bill author has a few minutes to share their thoughts on why they should pass or, why they want you to pass their bill. Then there's a time for technical questions that anyone can ask of the bill author. And after that, then anyone can speak against or for the bill. And we try to go back and forth so it's balanced. So the bill author is considered a pro speech or for the bill, right? So the next one after technical questions would be, is there anyone who wished to speak against this bill? And you go back and forth, giving an opportunity on each side. Now, you want to be in charge of the meeting, so you want to be kind, but you want to be businesslike, all right? Keep it on track. And if you need help with that, or if there's questions, you do have your college advisor in there as well that can help with some of those things. Now, it's important, as a chairman, all right, listen, as a chairman, never, ever, ever talk for or against a bill, all right? You want to encourage a bill to pass, and you never table a bill. It's got to go through. We got to have one of three responses: do pass as amended, or do not pass. Now, there are some cases where you are the bill author, and so obviously in that situation for that period of time, you will want someone else, perhaps your committee secretary, to step in and facilitate the meeting as the chair while you are presenting your bill. And as soon as that's over, you can switch back and once again chair the meeting. Again, you want the bills to pass, so as chairman, if necessary, you want to try to amend the bill so it can pass. Work out the flaws of the bills in the amendments. Be certain to cover every bill that's assigned to your committee at the scheduled time and as instructed by our staff. Again, we want to keep the trains running on time and as expected. Lobbyists, adults, and bill authors who are not members of the committee are not allowed to vote but can speak in there. Now, if the bill author is not present, so inevitably we have first-timers who will get lost in the hotel or have to step out to the bathroom or whatever, you can put the committee at ease and try to go find that bill author. This is a good opportunity for you to really use your college staff person to help with that, but nonetheless, you want to use them. And you're responsible for finding out the bills that would be assigned to your committee from the other chamber, how they do. And there's going to be a bill tracking sheet on the outside of each chamber that lets you know how those bills are doing. So you will have an idea of what is coming to you. Page 30, we go into more detail. So chairman, you should find your committee room first before the committee meeting. You should be sure that the committee room is properly marked, which means that there's a sign on there that says House Committee 1, Senate Committee 2, whatever it may be. You should put up directional signs if needed, and of course all these need to be taken down on the last day of the conference, and we'll need your help to make sure that that happens. You will pick up the bills from the clerk or secretary in your chamber, and you will sign these bills. There's a bill receipt. You'll sign these saying that you have received them. It says guard them with your life. Bring something in which you can put your materials in, such as well as a stapler, some large rubber bands, etc. We'll have some of that stuff for you, but we really want you to help us keep track of this stuff. So what does the secretary do? The secretary is responsible for all amendments, committee reports, and actual bill jackets during the committee meeting. Attach all amendments that pass to the proper bill inside the bill jacket. Do not write on the original bill. Okay, say that with me again. Do not write on the original bill. Great, we got that. And then when the final action of the committee is decided, do pass as amended, or do not pass, the committee secretary will write the final action on the committee report. You will be given a separate committee report to turn in for each bill. The committee advisor or college staffer will just help the committee to start on time. They'll help with introductions, assist you as the chairman if needed, and assist committee members. But the intention is for them not to get involved in discussion on the bill or amendments. That they usually don't have a problem with that. But if that happens, just kindly say the chair would like to remind everyone that discussion on this is limited to student participants and members of this committee only. simple reminder. If there's an issue outside of that, look at your college staffer, let them intervene, and if they have an issue, then they will come get me or another one of the staff members. But I don't expect there to be any issue. All right, so we figured out what everybody's doing. So what is the procedure for this meeting? Well, the chairman will conduct the meeting, so you'll call it to order. The Senate Committee 2 meeting is now called to order, and you'll wrap your gavel. For the first 2 meetings only, so the first meeting on that Sunday night, and then the next meeting on Monday morning, you'll introduce yourself and each other, just to make sure everyone knows everyone. You will have a roll call sheet, and you want to make sure that everyone's there that's supposed to be in your committee. And we'll try to have this up to date for folks that don't show up or etc. The committee secretary will then read the assigned bill. The author speaks on the bill. He represents his bill both in the committee of both chambers. So this is important. If you're a House committee chairman or Senate committee chairman, and you start out with a House bill for the House chamber, when that Senate bill, number 3 or whatever, comes over to the House committee, that senator will represent his or her bill. And the recommended time is 5 minutes for them. We may adjust that as time goes on just because of how the time schedule goes. Lobbyists, there will not be any lobbyists here, so you can ignore that. But students who want to speak against the bill or for the bill can then join in and talk at that point in time. Discussion and debate. Then there'll be a call for the previous question. And that's pretty simple. Again, you can visit the According to Bob series on our YouTube channel or on the website. If there's a call for the question, the previous question, the procedure is simple. There's been a call for the previous question. Is there objection? The chair hears none. Or you can say that there is objection. If there is objection, you'll say, does the representative or senator move? That's the one who has made the call for the previous question. If they say move, then you got to take a vote whether you're going to end debate on that or not. Now, sometimes you don't have a choice. We're running out of time. The staff person has told you, nope, that's it. In those cases, and you'll see this happen on the chamber floor, you'll simply say, there's been a call for a previous question. Is there objection? And whether there is or not, you'll simply say the chair hears none, and now we'll proceed with a vote. And again, simple majority. Secretary will read the amendments, and you'll vote on the amendments each. You can be given amendments at any point in time during the bill until the move for the previous question has been made. At that point in time, you can no longer submit amendments. Amendments are made one at a time, and they're read one at a time and voted on each of them. The vote on the last amendment. So in the chance that one amendment undoes another amendment, etc., the last amendment passed takes precedence. So if I amend the bill to say I want to have 22 minutes of recess for every elementary school student, but someone, and it passes, okay? So 22 minutes, hooray, everybody. But then somebody comes behind me and says, no, I think there should be 37 and a quarter minutes of recess. And that one passes. Then what goes to the actual floor of the chamber is 37 and a quarter. So the last amendment that passes is the one when there's a conflict that takes precedence. And then you'll record the vote on the amendment form. You'll indicate the number of your committee on the amendment form. After all this, you voted on amendments, then the author has the right to a summation. Again, so he or she's heard the debate, the pros and the cons, etc. This is the last opportunity for them to say, okay, I understand there's concerns, but let's pass this bill, etc. And then after that point, Secretary reads the bill as amended. And then if there's no amendments, there's no need to read the bill again. And then you vote on the bill. Then you'll adjourn and announce the next committee meeting. If the bill did not pass, encourage the author to file a minority report. This can be found on Rule 6 in pages 28 and 29 of the bill book. And then you can also ask a college staffer for those. After the meeting, you'll fill out the report sheet. Once it's filled out, you'll file it with the secretary. and the report sheet, the bill, and any amendments that were passed, folded together, returned to the secretary clerk for your chamber. The chairman signs both the report sheet and bill jacket, so be sure to sign the correct bill jacket. Blues for Senate, whites for House bills, and the exact vote of the committee is recorded on the chairman report sheet and on the bill jacket. So again, you can see at the bottom of 31 actually is the minority report. So that is the who, what, when, and where of how to run a committee. It's fairly simple. And if you get a little jittery about the procedure, because some of the students that are in your committee may know procedure better than you do, that's okay, because the vast majority of folks simply do not understand Robert's Rules of Order. And if you make a mistake, that's okay too. Just simply say the chair is in error and correct your mistake. And if there's questions, ask for clarification from your college staffer or an advisor in the room. So this has been a brief tutorial of what's going to happen. Next, you're going to be provided some opportunities just to answer some questions based on what I shared with you. And then after that, you will have a secret certificate of completion of this training. And then from there, we'll talk on Thursday afternoon at 4:30 if there's any questions. And then once again, we'll meet at 5:30 on Sunday afternoon at the conference just to make sure that you are squared away and ready to serve as a committee chairman. Again, thank you so much for serving, and we're looking forward to a wonderful event. And we thank you for your service, and we know that you are going to have a great time, and it's going to be a great event because of your leadership. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day, and we will see you soon.